Welcome to Math Minders Academy. If this is your first time of joining our YouTube channel, please subscribe by clicking on the subscribe button. Click on the notification bell so that each time we produce a new video, you'll be among the first to receive it. Share this video, like it. Today, we are going to be looking at chapter 2 of SAT Mathematics. And so the College Panda SAT Mathematics, we are looking at chapter 2, which has to do with percentage. So we are going to look at different questions that are normally asked under percentage, and then we'll proceed to see detailed solution to each of these questions. So what I will encourage you to do is to first go through the questions yourself, solve them, and then try to use the answers provided at the end of the book to mark, and then watch the video. So the video will give you the step-by-step explanation of how those results were generated. Okay? All right. So we are heading straight to the chapter exercise. So we are looking at question number 1. Question number 1. Here, we are told that if S is 50% larger than Z, and Y is 20% larger than Z, then S is what percent larger than Y? So let's say now S is larger, so we can express X in terms of Z. S is larger than Z by 50%. So now the multiplier is 1.5. So now remember, if there is an increase, we are adding to 100. So 100 is the standard, so we add 50. That gives us 150%. So that 150% is 150 over 100, which is 1.5. That's our multiplier. Now, Y is 20% larger than Z. So Y is larger by 20%. Okay? So this is what we'll get. Okay, so they said, so what we now need to do is to create a relationship between S and Y. Here, we need to create a relationship between S and Y. So what can we do now to clear this? That's just it. So because here we have Z, here we have, so we can, from this equation, from this second one, let's go, this is the first. So from this second one, we can say that this Z is Y over 1.2. So we can now go to the first one and say S is 1.5. Then instead of Z, we put Y over 1.2 here. So S is actually going to be, if we look at it, it's going to be 1.5 over 1.2 Y. So S is going to be, if we divide 1.5 by 1.2, what would that give to us? It will give us 1.25. To give us 1.25, which is 25%. So S is 25% of Y. So here I said then, S is what percent larger than Y? It's 25% larger. Look at it here, 50%. Here, Y is 20% larger. So here, S is 25% larger than Y. So it's 25%. So what we can get here is 25% larger. So, which is option C. We proceed to the next question. Question number 2. Veronica has a bank account that earns 10% interest compounded annually. If she opened the account with $200, this expression here now, $200 into S raised to power T, represent the amount in the account after T years. Which of the following gives S in terms of M? Now, remember, if we are using M%, we are going to have 200 into 1 plus the rate, which is M per 100, to power T. And this is going to be equivalent to what we are giving here. So, of course, while dividing, when we divide both sides by 200, see that this and this will cancel out. If you take the T truth, that will also cancel out. So we have 1 plus M over 100 equals S, all right? So if you look at this now, this is going to be 1 plus 0.01 M equals S. So S is this the same way as saying 1 plus 0.01 M, which is option A. It's option A. All right, so we proceed to question number 3. In a survey of 400 seniors, 8% said that they plan on majoring in physics. One university has used this data to estimate the number of physics majors it expects for each entry class of 3,300 students. If the university expects 66 physics majors, what is the value of S? Now, from these 3,300, they're expecting to have 66 physics majors. So what is 66 as a percentage of 3,300? We look at it. It's a percentage of 3,300. So this will give us, if you cross it out, see, what would you have? 66% over 33. That gives us 2%. So S is 2%. All right. So let's move on. The table below shows the number of boss spring mattress units sold over 4 weeks at a bedding store. So week 1, we have this number of boss spring, number of mattresses. So this is the total for week 1, 85. Total for week 2, we have all of them here. So here say which week accounted for approximately 32% of all the boss spring units sold. Which week accounted for 32%? Yeah, okay, of all the boss spring. If you look at, this is boss spring with 167 of the boss spring, 167 boss spring over the course of boss spring sold, okay, from week 1 to week 4. Now, if you look at from a hinge side, you see that 32% is 32 over 100, which is about 0.232, which is nearly 1/3. So which of these will give nearly 1/3 of 167? Which one? Nearly 1/3. You will see that this 53 is nearly 1/3 of this. Okay, so, but let's look at the solution. So he said, which one, if we look at it, if we, because this is the closest, this 53, by the time you take 53 all over 167 times 100%, that gives us 31.736. So this gives us 31.73%, which is approximately 32%. So is week 3, and that's option C. To number 5. Approximately what percentage of all units sold came from week 2? Approximately what percentage of all units sold came from week 2? Let's go to week 2. So all units sold. Look at it. Look at all the units sold. Look at it here. 386. Now, look at week 2. What percentage? Look at what was sold total. All the units sold in week 2, 103. We're going to write 103 as a percentage of 386. 103 was sold week 2 out of 386 for all the weeks. So what percentage is that? 26.68%, which is approximately 26.7%. And that gives us option B. Proceed to number 6. Matrices accounted for approximately what percentage of all units sold during week 1? So let's look at all the units sold during week 1. This is all the units sold during week 1, 85. Matrices, 47. So we are going to look at that, 47 as a percentage of 85. So we have 47, write it as a percentage of 85. 55.29%, which is approximately 55.3%, which is this option D. Now, still on that table again, what was the approximate percent decrease in the number of matrices sold from week 3 to week 4? Now, let's look at week 3 and week 4. So week 3, for matrices, week 3 we have 68, week 4, 43. So week 3, we have 68, week 4, 43. So what's the difference here? A decrease from 68 to 43. It's a short of 25. So that's 25 decreasing from the 68. It was formerly 68. It dropped to 43. So we have a decrease of 25. So we have 100% here. So we have 36.76%. But they said we should approximate it. Approximate this. So this is approximately 37, which is option A. Let's move on to question number 8. The discount price of a book is 20% less than the retail price. So let discount price, let D equals discount price, R equals retail price. So they said the discount price of a book is 20% less than the retail price. So the discount is smaller, is 20% less. So our multiplier is 0.8. Of course, 20% less. So you're going to subtract that from 100. We are left with 80%, which is 80 over 100. And that gives us 0.8, which is the multiplier here. So now James manages to purchase the book at 30% off the discount price. So, off the discount price. So this is further reduced by 30%. So that is 70. Our multiplier is 0.7. Now that's 100 minus 30. That gives us 70%, which is 0.7. So here again, we purchase it. So let's say purchase. Let's call it sales. Will now give us 0.8 times 0.7R. Now, what percentage of the retail price did James pay? So all this together will give us 0.56R. So this is 56% of the retail price. So because if you look at 0.56, multiply by 100 to turn it to percentage, or if you turn it as a fraction whose denominator is 100, because that's what percentage is. Percentage is a fraction whose denominator is 100. So this 56 over 100, that's 56% of the retail price. So this gives us 56% of the retail price. So we have option D. Question number 9. Each day, Robert eats 40% of the potatoes left in his jar at that time. At the end of the second day, 27 potatoes remain. How many potatoes were in the jar at the start of the first day? Okay. Let n equals number at start. Okay, so end of day 1, we have, you say at 40%, so 60% left. We have 60% left, which is going to give us 0.6n. Then what happened at the end of second day, end of day 2, now he ate another 40% because Robert eats 40% of the potatoes that are left. So this is left. If we consume 40%, we are also left again with 60%. So for this now, we are left again with 60%, and that gives us a total of this left, 0.36. Now say how many potatoes were in the jar at the start of the first day. So now this 0.36n is equals to 27. So n is 27 all over 0.36. And that gives us 75. So 75 is the number at first day, 75. So we'll mark that. And we move to question number 10. So question number 10, Joan bought a doll at a 10% discount off the original price of $105.82. Question number 10. John bought a door at a 10% discount of the original price. So discounted price is going to be 105.82 times 10% of that is 0.9, and that will give us 95.23. Okay, and then he paid a sales tax of X%, and everything he paid for the door was $100. Okay, so what it means is if a tax is paid, that means we are increasing this amount by X%. Increasing this amount by X% to give us 100 here. Okay, so 1 plus X over 100 will give us this 100 over 95.23. Okay, which is equals to 1.050. So this is giving us 1.05. All right. Now X over 100 is equals to 1.05 minus 1. That's 0.05. Okay. So S in itself multiplied by 100 will now be 100 times 0.05. So S becomes 5%, which is option D. Number 11. In 2010, the number of houses built in Town A was 25% greater than the number of houses built in Town B. So Town A, okay, let's write it this way. We say A is greater than B. So A is 25% greater than number of houses in Town B. 70 houses were built in Town A. So we have 70 here. So we are looking for in 2000, and that's during 2010, how many were built in Town B? So if you make B the subject, here you have 70 all over 1.25. And that gives us 56. That gives us 56. Question number 12. Over a 2-week span, John ate 20 pounds of chicken wings and 15 pounds of hot dogs. So Kai ate 20% more. So now let's look at John. I can have a two-way table this way. I can have chicken. Can do something here for purpose of explanation. Let's say chicken wings. And let's say we have hot dogs. All right. And so we have John. And we have Kelly. So now John ate 20 pounds here and 15 pounds here. Okay, this fellow here ate 20% more. So we are going to have 20 times 20%. 20% more chicken wings. So that will give us 24 here. And 40% more hot dogs. So we have 15 times 40%, that's 1.4. That will give us 21. He said, Kelly ate approximately 8% more food by weight than John. So if we look at, we come here and do something here now. Do total here. This guy has 35 here, and this is 45 here. So you can see that Kelly ate more. So you have 45 minus 35. That gives us 10 more. All right. What is S rounded to the nearest percent? So we have 10. Of course, if you look at this, okay, you see that it increases from 35 to 45. So it increases from 35. This is the old value times 100%. We have 28.57%, which is approximately 29%. And that's option C. Number 13, Jen is playing a board game in which she must collect as many cards as possible. On her first turn, she loses 18% of her cards. Now let's K equals number of cards. So it loses 18% after loss. So, number of cards after 18% loss equals, so this 18% is going to give us a multiplier of 0.82. So I have 0.82 K remaining. On the second turn, she increases her card count by 36%. Okay. After increase, number of cards after 36% increase, that will give us 0.82 K times 1.36. Okay, so we have this, which gives us here, we can write 1.36 times 0.82 and put K out. Of course, this is multiplication. So this K can actually be taken out. We remember that we say number of cards equals this, okay? And they now say that if our final card count after these two turns is n, so we are saying that therefore n is this, which of the following represent her starting card count in terms of n. So make n the subject. If you make make k the subject, so you will now write in terms of n. So k is going to be n all over 1.36 times 0.82. Then, all right, if you make k the subject, this is what you will get. And that is option C. Yeah, this option here. We proceed to number 14. Due to deforestation, researchers expect the deer population to decline by 6% every year. If the current deer population is 12,000, what is the approximate expected population size 10 years from now? So we want to decrease 12,000 by a multiplier of 6%. So remove it from 100, we have 94%. So our multiplier is 0.94 over a period of 10 years. 6463.38. So now we are looking at approximate expected population. So which one is closest? If you look at this option, it is 6,460. That's the closest population here. So we take option B. Proceed to question number 15. Carry bought a $2,000 government bond that yields 6% in simple interest each year. Which of the following equations gives the total amount A in dollars that this fellow will receive when he sells the bond after 3 years? When he sells the bond after 3 years. So now let's look at interest. You know that amount is principal, all right, plus interest. Okay. So let's see what we have here. Interest itself is principal times time times rate all over 100. All right. Because this is simple interest. So now this will give me 2,000 times rate 6% times time. Let's look at time that we are giving here, T, all over 100. Okay. Now, let's see what this will give to us. These two will cut out. So what do we have here? 20 times 6, 120T. Okay. Now, so amount, we know what interest is now. We've seen interest. So amount is principal, which is 2,000 plus interest, that's 120T. All right. So we now want to, which of these will resemble it, okay? Now, if we factor 2,000 out, this is 1 plus Of course, here we are going to have 120 over 2000. All right. T. Because if I use 2000 to multiply this, you know, if you do 2000 times 120 over 2000, you will get 120 because this and this will cross out. So now I'm going to have 2000 1 plus, if you do 120 over 2000, what would that give to us? 0.06. This is 0.06 T. So which option is that? Now look at it. It's actually option B, 2000 into 1 plus 0.06 T. So the correct option is option B. So we mark that and we proceed to the next question. Question number 16. A small clothing store sells 3 different types of accessories. 20% are scarves, 60% are ties, and the other 40 accessories are belts. If half of the ties are replaced with scarves, how many scarves will the store have? Now, let's see 3 accessories. Scarves. Let's see scarves. Equals to 20% is 20 over 100, which is 1 over 5. All right. And then let's take ties. Ties is 60%, which is 6 over 10. That's 3 over 5. Okay. Now, we are told here that the order will be 40. So let's take total of this fraction. Total is 1 over 5 plus 3 over 5, which is 4 over 5. Order is equals to 1 minus 4 over 5, the fraction of the order, which is 1 over 5. Okay, okay. Number of accessories. Number of accessories will be 1 over 5. Let number of accessories be n. Therefore, 1 over 5 n is equals to 40. So n is 200. That's cross multiply 40 times 5. Okay, let's show that step. Let's show that step. Let's show it. So n is 40 times 5, which is 200. Okay, so now it says if half of the ties are replaced. Now ties will be 3 over 5 of 200, which is 120. 120, okay? Half will be 60. That's 120 over 2, which is 60. I replace with scarves. Okay, you say if half of ties are replaced with scarves, how many scarves will we have? So scarf, let's look at scarf. Scarf is going to be 1 over 5, 200, then that is 40. All right. So what will happen is if we now take 60, change 60 ties to scarf. So we are going to have we're going to have 60 plus 40. That will give us 100. Okay, because here it says how many scarves will the store have? So the store will have 100 scarves. That means already this store is having 40 scarves. We now reduce ties from 120. We drop it to 60. So the remaining 60, we change it to scarves. So scarves will now become 60 plus 40, which is 100. Question number 17. Let's take checking account. So for checking account, the amount is going to be 1,000 into 1.01 raised to power 5. Remember, our multiplier 1.01 is increased by 1%. So 100 plus 1, that's 101%, which is 101 over 100, and that gives us 1.01. So that's the multiplier. So here, the interest here, let's call it I1, is going to be 1,000 1.01 raised to power 5 minus what is invested. Now, for the other account, which is savings, for savings, we do the same thing for savings. Interest for savings, which is I2, is going to be 3,000 is increased by 6%. Then remove the amount invested. So now the second interest is higher. We do interest 2 minus interest 1 will give us 3,000 into 1.06 raised to power 5 minus 3,000, then minus 1,000 into 1.01 raised to power 5 minus 1,000. So let's look at which of the option. 3,000 into 1.06, that's option C, raised to power 5 minus 3,000, yes, minus 1,000 into 1.01 is minus 1,000. So it's option C. That is the correct option. So we proceed to question number 18. Question 18, Christian opens a bank account that earns 4% interest each year, compounded once every 2 years. If she opened the account with care dollars, which of the following expressions represent the total amount in the account after 2 years? You know, it's compounded every 2 years, once. Let's take note, once every 2 years. That means in 20 years, for example, it will be compounded 10 times. In 20 years, it will be compounded 10 times, okay? That's 20 over 2. So in T years, it will be compounded T over 2 times. So in T years, just here, so in T years, it will be compounded by T over 2 times. It will be compounded T over 2 times. So note that. And then invested care dollars. And remember, how many percent? 4% per year, each year. In 2 years, it's going to double. In 2 years, it's 8%. So interest is going to be 8%. So now we put care Now it's going to be 8%. So we are going to, that's 108%. Since it's increasing, our multiplier is 1.08. So this is 1.08. How many times will that be compounded? T over 2 years. Just like in 20 years, it's going to be compounded 10 times, 20 over 2, because it takes every 2 years to compound the account. So this is what we are going to get. This is the model that we are going to get. And this corresponds to which one? Which one here? Okay, into 1.08. So that's option D, number 18. So we see that option D for number 18. So this is how far we can go in today's tutorial. We've been able to successfully walk through all the exercises in chapter 2. I think with what we have done so far, if you have followed through, go through this video, play it once over and over, you get familiar with the step-by-step solution. If you like this video, if you have not subscribed to our channel, we encourage you to go now. We give you 5 seconds. Yes, 5 seconds. Have you clicked on the subscription button? Thank you very much for doing that. So you can also click on the notification bell so that each time we produce a new video, you'll be among the first to receive our video. Share this video, like it, go to the comment section and tell us how you feel about this video. Tell us what you feel we can do in order for us to serve you better. We enjoy your company with us up to this while. This is Math Minders Academy. We are going to see you in our next tutorial class, where we'll be unveiling solution to chapter 3, which deals with exponential growth and decay. We hope to see you there so that we can enjoy that class together once again. This is Math Minders Academy saying goodbye for now.
In the midnight glow where the stars align, we lose ourselves in the rhythm divine. Underneath the sky painted with dreams, we're chasing the echoes of silent screams. Caught in the spell of the cosmic night, where fantasies bloom in the pale moonlight. We'll let go of all that we know and